speaking of risks and failing, episode 4.
Yeah.
Episode 4 is.
I really like this episode.
And
it had
it's
everything.
Yeah, this episode is a
Quite
man. It's amusing until it gets to a certain point, and then it's like, oh fuck.
Dude, okay. So one of the things that I wanted to point out, I really have a great appreciation for shows that do this. Detective Conan does this a lot, and I'm sure you guys can
changing clothes.
Too. Yeah, yeah, dude.
Man.
The fashions, like the fashion sense of Loid. Bro, he goes through. It's comical, right? Because he goes through outfit changes.
Yeah, and they're like
the episode.
instant.
Yeah, dude. But I'm like, yo, this guy, I'm pretty sure that the guy who created this show, Iguchi-san, I think is the
Iguchi is the voice actor.
Okay, voice actor.
Yeah.
But yes, the mangaka, bro, he has a really good fashion sense because the wardrobe change for Loid is like if you speak to any men's fashion channel, right, on YouTube, if you watch them, they always say you've got to get a black suit, you've got to get a gray suit, right, and then you got to get business blue.
Yeah.
And Loid has every single one of those. Goes through every single one of those, dude. And he like stylish, bro. He's got the whole nine, right? He's got the jacket, he's got the pants, he's got the vest, he's got the shirt, he's got the lapel pins, he's got the cuffs.
My man went to Men's Warehouse,
dude,
multiple times.
He likes the way he looks.
He likes it. I mean, he looks good in that.
He does look good.
Hat,
Absolutely.
the umbrella, the gloves, the suitcase.
Yeah, that's the thing. He accessorizes too. It's not just thing. So it kind of makes me wonder. And even when it's casual wear, it's like a good fit. And it reads casual. It reads comfortable, but it's also like a smart casual, where he doesn't look sloppy in it.
Yeah.
It's like he obviously takes care of himself and wants to represent that look. So I kind of wonder if the mangaka hung out with Kubo at all, because Bleach, everybody knows, is the king of drip.
There you go. Dude, Bleach. There you go. There's another thing, right?
Yeah.
Bleach. It's another
Always
show.
in different outfits. Very
much drip,
fashion
bro.
sensitive.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel like that's a really good thing to bring up. I feel like when it comes to like manga and anime, we've really diverted to like more detail and stuff throughout the years. Because in the earlier ones, like Dragon Ball Z, Naruto,
It's
One
copy
Piece.
paste, yeah.
Yeah, it's copy paste. They're wearing the same outfits all the time, and you see now like in MHA and stuff like that.
Different all
they're
the
always
time.
switching stuff
All
up,
the time,
So
yeah.
so like it just seems like the mangakas are really paying attention.
Yeah,
to
I really
detail
appreciate
with
that they go
which
that.
is cool.
And it's not just with the clothes, right? Like for example, Robert, he does a lot of car spotting, right? So when the mangaka goes an extra mile and puts a little bit of detail into the show, like somebody who has a
Like a
keen eye for
personal
that
touch.
thing, right? They pick up on it. You pick up on it with cars, and then I picked up on the fashion. Like, dude, I was hoping that he had like a watch. And the socks, because I really like socks. So I was hoping that they showed him the socks.
Always have some socks. I got. What am I wearing? I'm wearing dog
Yeah, the
socks.
Kirby?
I got
Oh, he
Scottish.
doesn't
I
have
got
the Kirby
Scottish
socks
Terrier.
today.
I got Scottish Terriers right now.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping that like he'd switch shoes too, but every single one of his outfit changes, they had a cap toe. It was just a cap toe dress shoe. It was still nice, dude.
I think that's somewhat fitting the era. I think that's era sensitive. But going back to the changes and attention to detail, I don't think it's necessarily as much as an attention to detail as there's less limits now on production, whereas before it was like one person doing the art, one person doing the writing.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of work to constantly change outfits, where it was a lot easier just to copy paste the outfits.
Oh yeah, but
So a lot of it was a production aspect.
Yeah, but you look at Detective Conan, man.
I mean, yeah, there's exceptions,
You know?
but Detective Conan is also significantly larger than most other mangas.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I'm not saying that's the entirety of it, but I'm saying that's an aspect of it.
Yeah, no, you're
production,
absolutely right. I'm certainly not saying that it's a necessity, but I do appreciate when they go.
Oh hell yeah!
When they go to extra mile.
Yeah, every time they do that, because people catch on.
Yeah.
That it's the same outfit every time, and it gets old, and you're like,
It gives the character more personalization.
that's why you see the jokes, and the person opens the closet, and it's like 15 of the same outfit.
Yeah, dude, the Windsor knot, dude, he nailed the Windsor knot, and he had the dimple. I was like, oh, dude, this like these.
I mean,
guys.
it's easy to draw. It's hard to wear.
Yeah. I'm like, man, I do disagree with Yoru-san though. Yoru-san really likes the gray outfit. When Loid changes into the black with the gold, I was like, dude, black and yellow with Khalifa.
Your likes really like base color.
It's not that she liked it; it's that it fit in.
Yeah.
With that school.
Oh yeah, well, I still disagree. Oh, I mean, okay. So if she's gonna,
It was
make
more
the
like
argument
with their
that it
uniforms
fits
and
with
stuff,
with the wardrobe.
Well, I
of the
mean,
school.
even then, a couple episodes earlier, she was talking about getting just a black dress.
Well,
when
that
they went
was
to the
for.
tailor.
Yeah, she was like, I
Blood
like black and
reasons.
red because
Yeah.
it conceals the blood.
That's true. Yeah, she did say that.
Yeah, but when when they were at the seamstress, she was like, oh, "I really like this blue, and I do think that it'll fit me well." But then if you got blood on it, well, that's
Not a good look.
like
I mean,
so
it's
black
a good
and red.
look. It's just
Yeah,
gives you.
Well,
Yoda-san has a good style too. I like the earrings. I think the earrings are a nice touch, right? It's like this is my Thorn Princess earrings. Oh, dude, guarantee you, those aren't just for show.
some flashbangs.
She's gonna use
some
those as weapons. Yeah,
Really?
I guarantity you.
That's some
Right, because they're the same. They're a miniaturized version of her Thorn weapon. Yeah.
Of her Thorn weapon.
Yeah. So guarantee you she's gonna pull that off, right? Like pull something out of her heels. You can pull the earrings out.
I want them to be flashbangs just for the Full Metal Panic reference.
Oh,
Maybe
yes.
it's like part of her origin story. She had to pull the earrings out and kill somebody with them. And she's like, okay,
That's
this is
a
my
little.
signature now.
That's like the opposite of Morgan Freeman's. Have you ever heard that Morgan Freeman wears jewelry to pay for his funeral or whatever?
Really?
I don't know if it's true, but I've heard it that the earrings he wears is enough to pay for his funeral. So if he dies somewhere,
Oh well, I
that people-
mean,
So I wonder if it's the opposite. It's to prevent her from dying. She
People
has
do that
that
a
back.
lot.
good point. Yeah. Well, either way, like I like the touch, right? If it is a weapon, it's practical and it's also stylish, right?
Form and function.
Yeah, and I like. I also really like her pearls. I'm not really. I usually think pearls are a bit tacky, but I think she
Yeah.
pulls it off. She's got pearls as a bracelet. She got the pearl necklace, and I like the way that she wears her watch. Right.
Very classic.
shit on the
very
inside?
Yeah, it's like this.
Very
yeah.
classic.
I sometimes wear my watch on
Classy.
the inside depending on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the times I wear my watch on the inside intentionally is if I'm out of town
Yeah.
and in a different time zone. I'll wear a watch to show and I have the watch set for Arizona. I'll wear it on my inside.
Ah.
So it's like a
smart.
mental reminder of
Very
this
smart.
is Arizona time.
It is Arizona time. That's actually.
I just
pretty
use my
smart.
phone because digital.
Yeah, well,
I'm lazy.
wristwatches are cool, even though you can't read my black on black shit.
Well, dude, that's the thing, right? That's why I was so into the fashion over, like, especially with Loid in this episode, dude, because I love fashion and
Really?
yeah,
Oh,
I love fashion, dude. Right, so I'm a big watch guy. Like, I'm not super big on super expensive watches. I like more of the mid tier watches. Because I'm very minimalist when it comes to watches.
Yeah.
So I like even if I could afford a Rolex, I don't know if I'm ever gonna get a Rolex.
Yeah, I'm more into Omega. I fucking
Omega,
love
buddy, mine
Omega.
actually has Omega.
I actually plan on getting an Omega swatch
That's
because they did a crossover. Omega Swatch did a crossover. So
Nice,
it's less than
okay.
$300 with for an
Okay.
Omega watch.
all right.
But they're only available currently. They're not available online. You have to get them at one of their retailers.
Yeah.
So there's one. The closest one to us is in Vegas.
Yeah.
So I might just have to pop out there just to buy one. Just like I say, if I have a fucking Omega.
Yeah, yeah. But I thought I'd just point that out because I really appreciated all of the stylistic wardrobe changes
Yeah.
that Lloyd was going
It was.
through.
It was.
And let's talk about those wardrobe changes, like because right now some of
Bro,
the listeners
they were
and
slick.
viewers don't necessarily know the context for this. Maybe they haven't caught the recent episode, or maybe they don't watch Spy Family at all.
Yeah.
So the reason there were multiple wardrobe changes in these scenes is
because they were prepared.
they were prepared, and not the headmaster, but the housemaster. So it's like sub headmaster.
Isn't it Harrison? Is it Harrison?
No,
I do not.
I don't remember
his
the old
name.
guy's name.
I
It's
just
the old guy
remember
with half
saying-
glasses.
Yeah, I remember.
Half
that.
glasses guy.
Half glasses.
Elegante.
Elegant, yes, he's the elegant guy. But he was observing them, and they went through these scenarios where he's like, "Oh, no high, prim and proper person would get their clothes dirty in this situation to help somebody."
Yeah.
And then they get the clothes dirty. He's like, "Oh no, they're not what I thought they were." And then he looks back and they've changed
Bro,
clothes. He's
that
like,
scene.
You're like,
reminded- that scene reminded me of a Life Alert commercial. I've
kid's
fallen and
bullshit
I
acting.
can't. I've fallen and I can't get up. Please help me.
"This is totally real. I swear, I'm stuck."
Yeah. Dude, I love how they just immediately jump onto the challenge. Anya's like, that boy needs help. Let's go
Yes.
rescue him.
Just with a little pat on the back for the indicator.
Dude, I love how Lloyd is like, he steps into the sewage and like one hands the kid out of the
just
sewage,
throws
He just
him.
throws him.
swings
Yeah.
him over.
That shit was funny.
With just straight face, just this is how it's done. Throw,
So,
not lift and set. Just
I actually,
full swing.
I know it seems like it's over the top, but I guarantee you, there at least in Asian countries, there are private schools like that.
Yeah.
That really their vetting criteria for families is so strict. Like
yeah.
that's why when in the beginning of the episode, Lloyd was like, "Oh, I feel like I'm being watched," and then he sees on like the balconies
Yeah.
and in the windows that people are like observing him.
Yeah, the exam started the moment they
in charter
walked
schools,
in.
private schools, especially in Asia, where schools like past college are extremely competitive. Like this one's this
Even
was, like,
in Japan, even
primary
high
school.
schools are super competitive
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
I guess.
But so actually, like that's actually pretty realistic. Obviously, it's a bit over the top, But there are schools like that, especially in the Philippines. I know there are schools, especially in college, that they have really strict vetting criteria for the students to get in. So that wasn't actually too surprising to me.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the things they went through, the fact that they were prepared for such stupid shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here's a stampede of animals, which
For the
wasn't
smallest
intentional
That
by
was not
details.
planned. Yeah.
and they still stopped that. Yor did the fucking
Yeah.
pressure point shit
And change clothes again.
and change clothes again. 'Cause
That's
like,
Looking
no,
baller at all
and
times.
he's like, oh, it's a good thing we came prepared. And he's like, who's prepared for that?
I think he says they're just insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
She did
That part was
she did
funny.
the Mr. Spock.
This is past elegance.
yeah.
They're insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I have a feeling I'm gonna like the headmaster, man. He reminds me
The
you know,
housemaster.
every single
we
time
haven't
he
met
goes.
the headmaster yet.
Oh yeah, he's one of the yes, correct. Every time he does elegance,
Yes.
when somebody does something elegant, it reminds me of Shokugeki no Soma, where the headmaster every single time, like you know how every single time he tastes something good, he just loses his clothes.
Oh my god. I would
I was
prefer not
thinking
to remember
of
that.
Armstrong from an
Or
Armstrong.
Armstrong
yeah.
too. Yeah.
So brave.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's always brave or beautiful or anything. He's just like
beautiful.
Delicious.
flexes, clothes come off, and he flexes with the other person, and yeah.
Oh,
You're
that's,
so
shit.
strong.
that's a really
Yes.
good one, man.
That's exactly what I was thinking
Those
about
quirky
during that
personality
episode.
cues,
Yeah.
I love Armstrong, bro.
Oh, he's
Everybody
great.
loves
Armstrong.
I'm actually my D&D character is actually based off. Of him.
Really?
So you guys
Okay.
will see that soon once I.
Okay.
I was gonna say when.
Send the info to you.
Yeah. It's a good thing it's not based off of Major Hughes because then Robert would have to kill you off.
That's true. Yeah, so that was fun.
Oh
You
my
guys
God.
didn't see it because you got disconnected.
Jesus, man, that was one hell of an effort. Yeah. But yeah, we were talking about the interview now.
Yeah, the interview is where the emotions came into play. It's where all the fun and games started to go away.
Yep.
This was a good.
It was a very good scene, very, very good scene. It let us get a feel for all of the characters involved, and it let us know a little bit behind the school scenes of the school too. The interview started off simple enough, like straightforward. The whole, oh hey, where do you live? What's this? The innocent questions, and you could see Loid was extremely nervous at this
Yep.
point. Like he even stated, like he's never been this nervous before any mission. Even when he was surrounded in the terrorists undercover, he was not this nervous.
Yeah. No, but the thing about Loid is no matter what situation that he's put in, he's always going to be able to adapt.
Yes.
And he displays again how excellent his improv skills are, because when the interviewers shift to Anya and they ask her, like, what are your goals? And she's reading.
Oh, he's reading
Oh well,
her damn mind reading.
even before that, they didn't really anticipate them getting questions about his past wife.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that other stuff. And he
Yeah.
was like, oh, I kind of forgot what he said. I kind of forgot what he said about his past wife.
No, I actually, so I remember a little bit of what he said. They do inquire about his past marriage and
I think it was the inquiry was directed at Yor.
Yeah.
and what, because they ask, hey, how did you guys meet?
Yeah, that
And
was
then
to start off.
yeah, and then he says we actually met at the tailor that handles the uniforms for your school, and we met there and we kind of vibed, and it seemed like she would be a perfect fit to kind of fill in the void that was left by his first wife, to basically function as a surrogate mother for Anya, right? And so once again, we kind of even under pressure, we get a glimpse of exactly how good Loid is at improv, because right when when they direct the question to Anya, like I was alluding to earlier,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Well, what are your goals getting into the school?" And then Lloyd's like, "Well, I need to get close to Desmond."
Yes, yes.
Right?
And
Because he's the head of the organization.
She's like, oh, I want to get close to the boss. I want to know what the boss of the organization is doing.
Yeah, yeah.
And Lloyd is just like, you see his face go, oh shit.
Yeah.
But then he covers
"What?"
like, oh, she must mean the headmaster. She wants to know more about the school. Like, and then they're like, oh, admirable,
Yeah.
aspirations.
Yeah.
But even before that, it was when they were bringing up his improv came up into play when they asked about yours cooking, and Lloyd was like, "Oh, I do most of the cooking," and they're
Yeah.
like, "Wait a minute, shouldn't the woman be cooking?" And Lloyd was on the spot with that.
Yeah.
And then it led into the first, okay, calm down, let it go kind of thing, where they
because
had
he
that
was
self-control.
visibly annoyed, thinking that, well, okay, she might not. It's actually funny because, he was like, well.
Not that it happens anymore.
Yeah, she like she cooks for me sometime when I'm too busy.
Yeah.
And she's like, it hasn't happened yet.
Yes.
in his head.
Yeah, the
then-
narrator text.
But then he also he kind of throws her a bone, right? Well,
Right.
she might not cook all the time,
But-
she's also very nurturing,
Yes.
and she helps with the chores around the house. So when
Yeah,
I
he
am really
immediately
busy,
uplifts her.
Exactly.
Pitches
exactly.
in when it matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah, so that was the first test, even before they turned their attention to Anya, because then you had the what was his name, Murdoch?
Yeah, Murdoch.
Fuck that guy. But yeah, that's
fuck
when he
that
was
guy.
like, well, if I can't get them, I'll target
That was
Anya.
the question he's named. Murdoch?
Yeah,
The middle one,
Murdoch.
the pissy one.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah, well, he had
good
just gotten
name for a
divorced.
bad person.
Dude, he had just gotten divorced.
and he was spiteful.
And he lost
Yeah,
custody of
because
his child.
Lloyd did his research beforehand, so it was like a narration text, like the internal monologue about how his wife was filing for divorce or whatever.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh.
He was the Camilla of this episode. Yeah. Because you know how Camilla was like once Lloyd comes into the party, right? She's thinking, there's no way that Yoru-san is with Lloyd. He's way too handsome. Right? It's just she tries to sabotage that relationship. Same thing here, right?
Yeah, he's
He plays the
jealous.
Camilla. He's
I
jealous.
think he was worse.
Oh, he was worse because, for one, he was in a position of power, controlling what their mission could happen.
Yeah.
And then he turned that to Anya, and
Yeah, he targeted a little 6-year-old girl.
and he did not hold back.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was
Yeah, because he asks, do you like your old mother better, or do you like your new mother better?
forces a small child to compare the two.
Yeah, and I feel like that's really telling. Like she has a lot of pent up emotions.
Yes.
Once that question is asked.
Yeah, you see, like it's unexpected because there's all this fun and games, or oh shock, oh like ambiguous
Yeah.
emotions, and then you see tears on his face. And everybody's like, oh shit.
Yeah, so that really got me wondering, like, what
What's
has
the history?
happened in her
Yeah.
past?
You get a brief insight into exactly the type of trauma that Anya might have gone through
Yeah.
when she was in the research facility. Because we can only
shuts
assume,
down right here.
We can only
Yeah.
assume that she might have been with her mother for a certain time.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, who knows? This is just me kind of like musing. What if her mother discovers that she has psychic powers? Her mother becomes terrified, gives her off to the government, and says, "Hey,
I mean, the vibe that I was getting, because she was just like, mama, like she missed her profusely. It was almost as if maybe it wasn't willing.
yeah."
Maybe somebody else found Anya's powers and
Yeah,
took
that's what
her,
I was
or
getting.
maybe
Yeah,
the mother
maybe
passed
forcibly
and they
taken
found
her
her.
from-
Yeah,
from her
that's what I was
family.
getting from it. She was
Yeah,
taken from
that's-
the one person that genuinely cared for her the most.
Yeah, and I feel like Anya's blocked that out till now. She found like a surrogate family, but now that somebody's explicitly brought it up, she just couldn't handle it. She just stopped, and then
Yeah.
your went into murder mode.
Yeah, murder,
both
right?
did.
You're
Lloyd.
first,
The
and
cracking-
Lloyd was like, "Hold on, we're
the
gonna
cracking
control
fingers.
ourselves." Yeah. And then the mosquito came into place. That's all good.
Dude, me and
That
Robert
was so fucking convenient, man. Like,
Dude, me and Robert were talking about this earlier when Lloyd he finally snaps and he's about to clock Murdoch, right?
I mean, it's
And
more
he-
than a clock. He's about to knock his damn block
Yeah,
off.
dude, the murder ice came out. The
murder
his
ice.
spy eyes came.
The
his spy
expression
eyes came out.
completely
Yeah.
changed.
it was almost to the level of like when Gon
Yeah.
was about to fight that one the big dude. I forgot
Yeah.
his name. But he was one of their mentors.
Yeah.
He was about to fight him, and he was like, "I might just kill you."
Razor.
Yeah.
Are you talking Razor? Yeah.
It was Razor. Man, that's a good one.
Yeah, that was intense.
Yeah, but he smashes the table and he's like, sorry
destroys
to
the
fly.
It was a mosquito.
Or the mosquito.
Yeah.
And
And
I was
it's important that's a mosquito because this comes into play at the beginning of the 5th episode.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
okay.
It's actually they actually make it relevant.
Yeah.
Okay.
I won't say anything more because they haven't seen it. You might have, but they haven't.
Yeah. No, what it reminded me of, remember in the first episode of One Punch Man?
Yeah.
When
It's the
Saitama was trying to
opposite.
kill the damn mosquito?
Couldn't hit
Lloyd
it.
more powerful than
Lloyd
Saitama.
might be able to beat Saitama.
Yeah.
I told Robert like Saitama could learn a thing or two from Lloyd, bro. Got it in one
Crazy.
shot, bro.
One shot.
Yeah.
But man, that really gets me thinking about Loid. At first, he really makes it to be out like she's such a burden, and he doesn't think that.
Yeah,
he can do
he's
this
trying
for
to
Anya.
distance himself from her. He's acting like this is just an object.
Yeah.
This is just part of my mission. It has no attachment. And you can see
He's
here
trying really hard
that
to
even though he's
distance
like,
himself.
even though he's telling them to himself like, oh, this is just a mission. This is just a mission. It's like,
Yeah.
no, he cares about Anya.
Yeah,
To a point where
fiercely.
he will compromise his mission for her.
That's a pivotal point in the show.
Yeah.
To your point exactly, this is the first time that we've ever seen Loid compromise a mission, and
He lost
here's the
his
thing.
composure
This is
completely.
a big stakes mission,
Yes.
right?
World
It's
peace, basically.
if we're not able to get our hands on this diplomat, it could compromise the peace agreements that's going on with the two factions, right, East and West, and so he compromises the mission because of what Murdoch was putting Anya through. And so now we're getting really valuable insight on exactly the type of effect that Anya is having on both Yoru-san
Yeah.
and Loid.
Even then, like I think it's even more than that, because we're seeing in the earlier episodes that like Anya's affecting him to where it makes him think about his past life and how he was as a child and what he had to go through.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's the connection. That's what it's showing what he's feeling
Yeah.
from that.
How Loid reacted in that scene is exactly how any father would have reacted.
Oh, yeah.
Given that
Somebody
they were in that
mistreated their
position.
daughter right there in front of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how most fathers
Any
good
decent
father.
father. Any
Yeah.
decent
Good
father. Yeah.
and it doesn't even have to be necessarily father, whether
Figure.
because you saw both Loid and Yoru-san
Yeah.
react negatively to the
Yeah,
situation.
Yora was the
right?
first one to lose her composure, and then
Yeah.
Loid calmed her down, and then
Yeah.
Loid lost his composure. It's like, you know what, fuck it.
Yeah. To me, I saw that and I was like, oh, that's a naturally protective instinct that adults generally have towards children.
Yeah.
Where if they see children in distress,
Yeah, a child's
They're-
crying,
exactly.
especially
They're
when an
gonna try to
adult
help,
is
yeah.
doing something. This is a very imbalanced situation.
yeah. Yeah. So I think that was one of the highlights in the show for me, for comedic effect, obviously, but the fact that, now we're really starting to see exactly the lengths that, because remember when we were talking on the first episode, it's either he's going to come into it naturally or he's going to be forced into situations where he's going to have to adapt that fathership role to Anya, and
Yeah.
he's going to have to take on that burden of responsibility, and there he is doing that
I
exactly.
think we're seeing both. We're seeing
Yeah.
both.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that you mentioned comedic, because they did immediately spiked the drama and
Yeah.
brought up to this hot point where it's like, oh shit. But then immediately with the mosquito brought it back down into
Yeah.
a comedy aspect where it's
Yeah.
like, okay, bring it down, let's cool off a bit, let's bring it back down to a humorous element.
Yeah.
So they did a good job of transitioning between, oh, this is really funny, to, oh, this is really serious, to, oh, this is really funny.
Yep. Yeah. And then when the housemaster did something really unexpected
Yeah,
too,
he was
because
something not so elegant.
Yeah, he's the one that ended up clocking Murdoch.
Yep.
In the
It was
face.
it was a nice strike.
It
Yeah,
was
that
firm,
gave him a
Very
lot
precise.
Yeah.
Very
of
precise.
earned him a lot of brownie points for me.
Oh yeah.
Because like you said, right, he's Mr. Elegant. He seems like the type of person who doesn't want to he doesn't like showing his emotions on his sleeve.
Yeah.
Right? Because whenever he would get excited when observing Loid, Anya, and Yoru-san,
He had to
during
correct himself.
He had to
Yeah.
correct himself, right? He's like, oh, I can't act like this.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be one of the housemasters,
Right.
and there's a certain behavior that expected
Yes.
of me, right? Elegance. And then he totally breaks that character, and he's like, "Nah, man, you don't do that. You don't act out in that way." And he clocks the guy who is the son of the think he's the son of the previous headmaster.
You know,
Which-
I think what triggered that was when Loid bring up that the house-masters
Yes.
of this particular school
Yeah.
are the best in the
Good observation.
in the
Yeah.
And then
country.
how
Yep.
You said?
Yeah, and then how at the end he was like, "Oh, I was wrong. This isn't what I
was wrong.
thought it was."
Yeah,
and that
this
made
is-
him click because
yeah,
that's
that
you,
triggered him.
Yeah.
yeah, because you saw that in the end. It's like, do I go against the policies and the politics and the rules of the school that I work for,
Or do I hold my ideals to
or do I hold my? And then he caves to his ideals and goes, "You know what? Fuck this rules,"
Yeah.
and plummets the guy.
Yeah, yeah. That game that actually really endeared the housemaster to me. I think his name is Harrison.
I can't remember,
I
but
can't remember any.
I don't. Yeah.
I was too focused on the family. I
Yeah,
was too focused on Anya.
But I
and
like the
Loid.
fact they were able to introduce these three characters, and in the span of partial episode, we were able to learn so much about them and get endeared or hate to them
yeah,
with a short period. It's like, oh, because again, pacing. Now we're on like a smaller scale of pacing. Like, how do
Yep.
we introduce these characters, their impacts? How do we feel about them? Because it would have been very easy to just make them bland villain archetypes, like, oh, they're just the interviewees, they're just faces behind the light,
Yeah.
or off the stage, whatever. But they made them people
Yep.
in that short span of time.
Yeah. And then, the ending was really nice too, to kind of bring things into a conclusion here. When they
Sad
get back
face.
home and they're all just frustrated.
We failed. We definitely failed.
Yeah.
With that,
Yeah.
There's no way we passed.
Even then though, Loid is still like, reassuring Anya and making sure she's okay.
Yeah.
She comes up
Yeah,
to him and, she's like, oh, I'm so sorry I failed. He's like, no, it's okay.
It's okay, but he's
You don't
like,
need to go to a
there's-
school like
but
that.
but then
Yeah.
he's like, you probably wouldn't have gotten in anyway.
But at the same time, his own self comes out.
Yeah, but it was nice to end it on that note, because Loid by himself, if he would have failed the mission, he would have gotten stuck up in here.
Yes.
Right. But then you have Yoru-san and Anya there, pulling him out of that situation, and for the first time, I think he was willing to say, we'll just figure out something
figure out
else.
something
We'll
else.
figure it out something else.
Yeah.
Right? Because both Anya, so I think a lot of the fans, if they really got hit in the feels during the interview part, at the end of that, imagine what they must have, because it certainly affected me when Anya was crying started crying on his leg.
Yeah.
Because she's thinking she's, I'm sorry,
ruined his mission.
Papa. I
She's thinking she's
should
gonna
have
get
tried.
sent away
She's,
because
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because in her head, she's still thinking of, oh, I'm only here because of the mission.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're
And
gonna get
if the
separated.
mission's failed,
Yeah.
I'm gone.
Yeah. And then even Yoru-san, when she's having that internal monologue, she's like, even if it doesn't, she says to herself, if this fails, it might interfere with my work. But that
At the
there's
same
a part
time,
of her.
she's hurting. Like, I don't
She's
want the
hurting.
family to
exactly.
stop.
Yeah, I don't want this to separate. Right?
Right.
It's like she might not recognize it consciously, but you see how she reacts to Loid. You see how she reacts to Anya when Anya calls her mom.
Yeah.
Right. Like she's already extremely.
And
endeared
even
to
earlier,
Anya.
every time like Lloyd's coming to her defense, you see it too. Her blush, and then she's like, "Oh, somebody's like speaking well of
speaking
me."
well of
Yeah,
me.
she gets
Exactly.
embarrassed.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like a positive, like I'm so
Positive
happy to
word.
hear this. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's also not it's not so strange, because when she's in her workplace, remember during episode 2, her coworkers are bagging off her.
Yeah.
She's socially awkward. So any social situation that Yoru-san is in, people might think of her as weird. And so this is probably the first time outside of Yuri that
Yeah.
people have treated her like she meant something.
Yes. Yeah.
And so despite the fact that she might seem aloof, like, oh, this is just, it's par for the course, I just hope it doesn't affect my job, that she still doesn't want to be separated from Loid and Anya.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's why it was such a celebratory moment when Loid was like, you know what, we'll find a different way.
Yeah.
Or like, we'll figure it out.
And that
Right?
gave them the
Sucked
hope. of-
into that wholesomeness that Anya brings.
Yeah, yeah. Although the episode did end kind of ominously, the whole picture frame falling onto the floor.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I was thinking like,
I was like,
is that a bad?
oh, come on,
omen?
man, that's like,
the traditional bad omen.
They got me
The
upset.
picture, it just fell. There was
What
nothing
does
that made it fall.
mean?
at the very least it didn't.
I know
crack.
what it means because I watched the next episode.
Oh, fuck.
At least it didn't crack.
It didn't crack.
It
That's
didn't
important.
crack. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't?
Yeah, because a really bad omen was if the picture frame fell, it cracks in the middle, and then it cracks. There's a crack that forms between Anya, Loid, and Yoru-san. Right?
There was a black cat crossing the
Yeah.
path in the beginning of the next episode. just saying, it continues right where it left off. Just saying,
Watch it.
you gotta watch it.
Yeah. But I really enjoyed the fact that they ended it on that note, because once again, we start getting a lot of depth to these different characters, right? What was once 3 disparate entities that separated solely for, well, at the very least, in the case of Loid and Yoru-san, they were very isolated in terms of their dedication to their work. And then Anya, of course, ostracized because she has mind reading capabilities, and kids are probably thinking that she's
she's
weird,
weird,
right?
I don't like
And
her,
now
yeah.
you're seeing that them come together because they fill a void in each other's lives that's missing, right? Anya gets the parental investment from Yoru-san and Loid. Loid gets the nurturing side of Yoru-san, and then the burden of responsibility of being a father. And Yoru-san, she gets to be a woman.
Yeah.
Right? She gets to be a mom, where probably, as far as we know, all throughout her life, she's been an assassin.
Yeah.
Right.
We have no idea like when
she's a
that
killer, yeah.
assassinship started, but just like context clues.
Yeah.
Makes it seem like this is all she knows.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They kicking ass and taking names.
Precisely. So I really enjoyed the fact that they ended the episode on that note. So
Yeah. And I hope y'all enjoy us ending the podcast on this note.
yeah. So I mean, you know, like we always say, thanks very much for joining us, whether you're listening to us on the podcast or you're watching us on YouTube. We know that time is your most valuable asset, and we certainly appreciate that you spend a little of that with us. As always, you can find me on Instagram at agent_. I forgot. Is it? Oh, it's agent_JSCHROTH.
So that's 2 podcasts in a row that people have forgotten their
Yeah.
own tags.
Hey, I only forgot the middle part.
Yeah, I should have snapped. I was like, J_. Okay, there you go.
We need, like,
Kenny,
name
where
this
can they
episode
find you, buddy?
Snap or something, because everybody's been snapping sometimes. You can find me on Instagram at Sir Kennethy. That's Sir KENNETHY. I have
Kennethy to you.
I have Toonami Tom as my
Toonami Tom.
Instagram handle.
Good shit. I have Hachiman as my profile picture. And you can find me at Cars and Cosplay with underscores for spaces. You'll see Hachiman, and you'll see a bunch of cool photos, because that's what I do on Instagram, at least sometimes when I post.
Yeah, unfortunately, I only have a picture of myself. So
I don't have a picture of myself. Actually, that's not true. If you scroll through there, somewhere in my feed, there is a picture of me that somebody else took. But yeah, you'll have to find that on the Instagram.
yeah, thanks again, guys, for joining us, and we will see you on the next. Jeez, man, we'll see
you guys next time.
You'll
on the
also
next
see
episode.
another guest. But yeah, you'll stay tuned.
Oh yeah. Well, I
Nice.
don't know who it is, so I'll be surprised too.
We'll
all be
all be
surprised.
surprised when they show up on the day of recording.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right, guys,
Bye.
leave out.